These three large rectangular boxes and the fourth smaller box you see here in front of you are in fact all computers. These are portable computers and range from 1981 on the left all the way to 1987 on the right. And the difference between these portable computers and laptops is, well, for one thing, the size especially, but also in the 1980s, due to technological limits, laptops weren't as full-fledged as they are now. For example, most laptops in the 1980s did not come with a hard disk because hard disks back then were large, heavy, and drew large amounts of power that would drain the battery very quickly. Laptops also didn't come with, usually the displays on laptops were not very good, mostly LCD displays, which were usually just black and white, and when scrolling and different things, since they were not active matrix, they had a lot of blurring, so the displays are not that high quality. But if you have a portable computer, you can add more disk drives, hard drive if you want. You can have a larger, better, higher power display, and also a faster processor. So I'm going to start with the newer computers on the right and work my way backwards to the beginning. So the first computer we will see is from Toshiba. This is the Toshiba T3200. This was released in 1987 by Toshiba, and I will show you why this is more than simply a laptop. As you can see, the display opens like a conventional laptop, but if you take a look at the rest of it, over here on the side, in here we have two expansion slots, and these in here, these take regular PC expansion slots. So at the time, there would be ISA cards. Now there are two slots in here. One of them is an ISA 16 card, and the other is an ISA 8 card. So you can put two expansion slots in there, or expansion cards rather. This also has a built-in hard drive. It's a 40 megabyte hard drive, and it's very large and very heavy. It's about, I would say, maybe half an inch thicker than modern 3.5 inch hard drives, and it is 3.5 inches in diameter. On the back here we have our power supply. So you see this does not have a battery. You must plug it in for power. We have our COM port. We have some dip switches here for settings. We have a printer port, and that's another COM port. Oh, this over here is a CRT port. This is for an external monitor if you want, because the display in here is grayscale, or orange scale, as we'll see in a minute. This switch here switches between, so you can plug an external disk drive in here, and this switches between whether you have drive A in the computer or drive B externally, or vice versa, or if you have a printer in here. So right now I have this set to printer, so I can plug a printer in here. And on the side here, we have our 1.44 megabyte floppy drive and our external keyboard port. Now this model came with either a 720K floppy drive or a 1.44 megabyte floppy drive. And a common problem with these, that I've heard anyway, is that the floppy drive can fail. I don't know if that is only the 1.44 one, or that applies to both the 1.44 and the 720K floppy drive. When I got this computer, this was suffering from that problem. You would put a disk in the drive, and the head would step and everything, but the spindle motor wouldn't turn. So I took everything apart and took a look at it, and just on a guess, I replaced there's one surface mount capacitor on the spindle motor board right next to the motor driver, and I replaced that capacitor just on a guess. I did not expect it to work, but it did work. After I replaced that capacitor, the floppy drive works fine, and I was able to install DOS and Windows 2. So I'll turn this back around and give you a little demonstration. Make sure everything is visible. And then I'll plug this in. Notice it does not have an integrated mouse, so if you want a mouse, you must plug an external mouse in. Okay. So now that everything's plugged in, you can turn it on. So our CMOS battery has died, so just press F1. We'll then reboot. So a little bit more about the specs of this computer. This has 1 megabyte installed, if you can see the memory count up there. The hard drive is 40 megabytes, and it has a 12 megahertz 80286 processor. And that also sets it apart from laptops at the time. Most laptops, when this was released, had just an 8086 or 8088 processor. The 286 processor was reserved for desktops or portable computers like this. So if you want to think about what a portable computer really is just a desktop shoved into a laptop shape, essentially. So you'll get basic desktop specifications and desktop hardware in a portable case. Now if we're going to see Windows on here, and as you can tell, so this screen is orange. This is a plasma screen, the first generation of plasma, and it is only 4 colors, or 4 levels of orange. It's a high resolution screen for the time. This is 700 by 400. Unfortunately, Windows doesn't have a specific driver for this, so I have it running in EGA mode. This is Windows 2.03, so it's not Windows for 286, but I could have put Windows for 286 on here. So this is Windows. So is there anything else on here? So at Windows we have Microsoft Word. So remember, if you would want to have a regular lighter laptop, you wouldn't be able to have a hard drive, so you'd have to run everything off of floppy disks, and you wouldn't be able to really run Windows, because although Windows can be installed on floppy disks, it's extremely slow and very difficult to use. So you'd most likely end up just using DOS, and some laptops only had 1 or even no floppy disk drives. Things like the TOS Model 100 had no disk drive. That was all RAM-based software. Other HP and IBM made laptops. IBM's laptop, the IBM PC convertible, or the 5140, had 2 disk drives. It was 720K only. But I don't think it'd be very enjoyable to run Windows on there. And again, that has only an 8088 processor, the CMOS version for low power. So if you wanted to run Windows really, or use Microsoft Word or Excel, you basically had to have a portable computer, which is essentially a desktop. Here we have Microsoft Word. So because it's not the exact proper driver for this display, it doesn't always draw everything 100% correctly, but it's definitely usable. So you have 66 kilobytes free. This machine has 1 megabyte of memory, but you could install an optional 3 megabyte expansion, which is, it's not Sims or anything, it's a specially made board that plugs into the motherboard, which I don't have. But if you did have that, you could expand your memory up to a total of 4 megabytes. So that is a basic overview of this computer, and then I will go back to our next earliest computer and show you that. One more thing I forgot to mention. Since this computer has a hard drive, and it's a computer that you're going to be carrying around with you, this has an auto park feature, which parks the hard drive heads automatically after 5 seconds of inactivity. So all you have to do is wait 5 seconds, and if you, sometimes the hard drive light does light. You can see it down here, the disk in use. The right is the floppy drive on this side, the left is the hard drive on this side. So it probably has already been 5 seconds, so you might not see it now. But after 5 seconds of inactivity, the disk drive will automatically park the heads, and then you can turn it off. So I'm sure it has been more than 5 seconds, so we can just turn this off now. So then once your computer is off and all closed up, you simply lift up the handle and carry it away. The next computer we will be looking at is the IBM PC Portable. This is the IBM 5155. This is quite a bit larger and heavier than the Toshiba. As you can see, it also has a handle on the top and the nice IBM badge here that says Portable Personal Computer. So for this computer, turn it around. This is the bottom, and on the back here we have this little trap door which unfolds to reveal the expansion slots and the power supply and the nice large IBM power switch. Let me set this down. So as you can see, this has all the full, I believe, 8 expansion slots of the IBM PC XT, and that is because I believe the motherboard in here is just a regular PC XT motherboard. And if you notice down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can really see that, but this right here is the keyboard plug, in the same place as it would be on the PC XT. Although on the PC XT, the power supply and the motherboard are switched, with the power supply over here and the motherboard over here. And to remedy that issue, since on the motherboard the power connections are over here to match up with the power supply as it would have been in the PC XT, they simply ran the motherboard, or the power supply cables, in a bus under the motherboard up to the connector over there on that side of the motherboard. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure why they did it that way. Now when I turn this around, you'll see the CRT is here in front of the power supply, so I'm not sure whether they didn't want the CRT to be overhanging the motherboard or what. But I'll give you a little demonstration of this. So this is our power supply. This is our CGA card, which has the regular D-sub-9 connector and also a RCA coaxial connector. This is our floppy card with the external floppy connector, and here we have a parallel card. This is not original to the computer, I added this, but these two cards are original. So let's turn this around. So this is the front, or if you're carrying it, this would be the bottom. It has pads for it to rest on, and it also rests on these too. You pull these in, and our keyboard folds down. Let's get that all in frame. So this keyboard is a regular IBM Model F keyboard, which has been placed in this different case. But if you take this apart, this is the Model F keyboard. It has the steel frame and all the regular Model F stuff. So some of you may be familiar with the IBM Model M keyboard, which is the successor to the Model F. The Model M, I believe, has an aluminum frame, and it has, I don't know how many key rollover it has. Probably at least 3 or 4, I'm not quite sure on that. But it has the aluminum frame, and it has the buckling spring with membrane switches. So when the spring buckles, it flips up a little tab that presses on the membrane switch to activate the keystroke. On the Model F, it has a steel frame, it has N key rollover, and it has capacitive switches. So in this buckling spring with the capacitive, so when you press the key and the spring buckles, the little plate hits a capacitive switch and activates that way. I believe the Model F is rated for, 100 million key presses. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe the Model M is rated for 10 million. So a little bit better durability from the capacitive switches and the membrane switches. Anyway, we have our regular CGA Amber monitor over here, and we have our dual 360K floppies over here. There's a disc in that one. That is, oh, part1. Not sure why that's in there. Now a little tray up here for to carry discs along with us. These are 360K discs, of course. So we have PC DOS. We have Microsoft Word. And the DOS supplemental disk. Got a view of that. So again, this has to be plugged in. So we'll plug this in. As the screen warms up, you should be able to see the memory count up on the top. I believe the maximum for this motherboard is 512. If you wanted to have the full 640 megs, you have to have a ISA video card. Just waiting for a disk. Let's see, put PC DOS in. And put it into basic. We can fix that. So if you notice, the keyboard arrangement is different than IBM's lighter keyboard. We have Alt here, Control up here, and Shift here. We have function keys over here. We have just a single plus key over here. We have print screen down here, and we have scroll lock and num lock up here, and caps lock down here. Now if you notice the way I press Control Alt Delete, you have to press Control Alt and Delete here. That is the reason why Control Alt Delete was originally chosen as the reset function for the IBM PC, because on the original PC and XT you couldn't do it with one hand. It would require two hands, and therefore would be virtually impossible to do accidentally. So it's asking for a date. Should take modern dates. Today is July 5th. Oops, I forgot I don't have numlock on. Let's try that again. And the time is, let's see. And now we have DOS. This is not MS-DOS, but PC-DOS, although they're essentially the same thing. But since this is an original IBM PC, we have the original IBM PC-DOS. This is version 2.1, which is original to this computer. And the reason I know that is because with this computer, I received the original IBM DOS. This is IBM DOS version 2.1. And this is what your software used to come in for IBM PCs. So in here we have a binder that slides out, Disk Operating System by Microsoft Corporation. And it has all of the guides and everything in here. And in the back it has the floppy disks. So these are the original disks which I made copies of, and that's what I'm using for this demonstration. I usually find a lot of these things kind of interesting. They have, first of all, they have a lot of information, and also they have a lot of animations in some of them. Let's see if I can find some here to show you. Like this, tells you different things about how to use your computer through kind of little funny animations. But back to the demonstration. So, we have IBM DOS. You notice how nice and fast this computer is. This is running a Intel 8088, I believe at 4.77 megahertz. A new little demonstration of Microsoft Word. Put that in this drive. Oh, by the way, if you really wanted to, you can actually detach the keyboard. This will detach, and then it has flips that fold up for stabilization. So if you're the type of person who likes to move your keyboard around the desk, you can move it whatever you like. So we'll go ahead and load Word. There's the old style Microsoft logo. This version of Word is from 1983 or 84. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but the screen actually has 15 levels of gray, since it is a CGA card in monochrome mode. I believe it's 15 levels. And it's that, maybe there's only 4. After looking at it, I know that CGA color is only 3 colors at a time, but I haven't looked into monochrome mode because I've never actually done anything with that. But it does have different levels, and I'm pretty sure it is 15 different or 16 different levels, including black. So as you can see, Microsoft Word works just fine. To do any extra stuff in Word, like your formatting and stuff, you press Escape, and then you have to take numlock off, so that's the only way you get arrow keys. You can move around. I thought you could anyway. Maybe just type the letter. So if you want to do a format, you press F. The menu down at the bottom changes to Format, and then you can format, say, your paragraph. You get into like centered, different things like that. I think this is kind of interesting because it's almost the exact same way that the modern ribbon in Microsoft Office works, where you simply click on whatever type of menu you want and the whole menu area changes to that type of menu. So, seems to be Microsoft recycling ideas again. You can just escape out of here. You go back to typing, you go to, I think it is Alpha. Go back to typing again. To quit, you just press Escape and then quit. We also have a, oh wait till some text comes back up on the screen. We also have a brightness control and contrast. If you have the contrast up too high, it starts to get blurry, so it's like somewhere around here is an optimal setting. So, this is basically one generation before the previous computer, which was the Toshiba T3200. This is the IBM Portable Personal Computer, or the IBM 5155. We'll go back one more generation, and the next two computers I show you will be from the same generation, essentially, the first two portable computers, and we will pick up there. And of course, no portable computer would be complete without its carry bag. This is a very heavy canvas bag. It does have things for shoulder straps on the side, but since this computer weighs about 30 pounds, I'm not quite sure you really want to make use of the shoulder strap. But once you have it in your bag, and this pouch on the side is for the power cord, you simply carry it away.